Well, two things that we want to call out actually real quick before we look at the teams. I mentioned this in day one, but I think the longer a meta goes, the more powerful Doonebug becomes. And I think he's got a really good grasp on this meta, and he knows the Pokemon that he wants to bring. Meanwhile, Reis2Occasion talked about in his interview in day one that he has played this team for a full month, and that he's so familiar with all these Pokemon, all the matchups, and how they synergize together. So I think it's no surprise that we're seeing these two trainers in the winners finals.
One thing that I'm curious about is Reis2Occasion has been running a lot of Florges and a lot of Unova Stunfisk. He's also leaned on the Empoleon as his third Pokemon. That trio has been a force here in Las Vegas. The thing is, one of the best answers for Empoleon is the core of Shadow Primeape in Unova Stunfisk. That puts a wrench in his plan to bring that Empoleon in this matchup. It becomes a lot harder to bring that Empoleon.
Absolutely, and another Pokemon that's hard to bring is that Galarian Moltres. If you look at the team for Doonebug, he's got the Stunfisk, he's got the Primeape, which resists those sucker punches and has super effective Ice Punch. He's got the Wigglytuff, and he's got the Cradily. Those are four Pokemon that have positive matchups into that Galarian Corsola. So we said it was going to be a hard bring last time as well, but he did bring it in that game number 3. A little bit of surprise pick, but let's not forget this is winners finals. It's best of 5, Butters.
It's best of 5 between two trainers that know each other so well. We are locked in. Let's get these winners finals started. We got the Galarian Corsola into the Gastrodon backline of Wigglytuff, Shadow Talonflame versus Florges and Dusknoir. You want to avoid that Dusknoir against that Wigglytuff at all costs.
Yeah, no, I was taking a look at these teams while they were locking in, and I was just thinking, okay, you really have to have an answer for this Wigglytuff in the back, and that Shadow Dusknoir and that Galarian Moltres are really tough. But you talked about how Empoleon's a lot harder to bring, and Reis2Occasion ended up bringing that Shadow Dusknoir. So I think for him, he really needs to figure out how he can win this early game alignment, knowing how risky it is to bring that Shadow Dusknoir.
And one Pokemon that's really good at winning alignment is this bulky Galarian Corsola. Is going to be able to get to the double Nightshade, which is swapped by the Florges, knowing that he was destined to lose that alignment. Reis2Occasion decided to catch that energy on one of his MVP Pokemon here in Vegas.
Doonebug actually waited a turn, which allowed Reis2Occasion to get that first fast attack through. So what that allows him now to do is throw on 4, so he's able to get to this chilling water before Doonebug. Otherwise, he would have had to throw on either bad timing or maybe throw 7, which would allow 3 Incinerates to come through. So actually pretty key for Reis2Occasion.
Yeah, great point that you're able to get that debuff earlier on to endure those Incinerates to possibly get to a double charge attack, which I think Reis2Occasion is definitely going for. Now, do you go for the 1 Fairy Wind, or do you try to risk it and go for 2? Goes for 1. Because there was a chance that Incinerate knocks out, but with this debuff, I don't think that Incinerate will knock out.
The thing that we have to keep in mind is this back match of the Shadow Dusknoir and the Wigglytuff still remain. Doonebug is prioritizing keeping this. Oh my gosh, this is huge. Reis2Occasion did get the Mud Slap through. He's at the Water Pulse.
He actually protect shielded on this Flame Charge here, but the timer is available for Doonebug. Doonebug swaps into his Corsola, and look, the patience from Reis2Occasion is going to try to go for the Mud Slap down. Doesn't have the health to do so, so had to throw that double resisted Body Slam, but he banks an attack.
Does Reis2Occasion have the Water Pulse loaded? At most, he's 1 away. You have to bring in the Wigglytuff here.
Yeah, it's too risky because there's no Protect Shields remaining. It's either he has a Body Slam for sure. Does he have the Resident Injury? No, he didn't have it, so he had to go for the Body Slam. The Wigglytuff does come in nonetheless and takes this Body Slam, and now Reis2Occasion is going to have to deal with this Wigglytuff with a Shadow Dusknoir. I don't know how he's going to do that.
I don't know how he's going to do it at all. And it's not just the Wigglytuff. There's a Talonflame still around as well, Butters.
Yeah, and at this point, you need to try to swap on something. No, actually going for the Dynamic Punch. This will do a lot of damage, but this Wigglytuff will have enough health to endure. How much health is on this floor? Just nothing. Oh, the Wigglytuff is quite low, but not low enough. Swap on the Charm doesn't work, and still the Talonflame is in the back.
Yeah, he waited there to swap, and actually the Charm ended up registering on the floor just there. There's really just no coming back here for Reis2Occasion. If you are able to make your way through somehow this Wigglytuff, you still got the Shadow Talonflame that you're going to have to navigate. And Doonebug, I love the way that he prioritized the HP on his Talonflame. It only took resisted Mud Slaps and resisted Fairy Winds. He was able to, with that 45-second switch clock, preserve that HP so nicely and really get a lot of value out of that Shadow Talonflame.
I think we need to talk about that Game 1 strategy for Doonebug. For me, it looks a bit clear that he was leading the Galarian Corsola to try to get alignment because he knows that Reis can't really bring Galarian Moltres versus his team.
Right.
And as soon as he knows there's no Galarian Moltres, he knows Corsola will get alignment.
That's right.
And then his backline is Shadow Talonflame and Wigglytuff. If they have alignment, that is really hard to beat.
I wonder if Doonebug swaps it up here or if he goes back for the same formula here. I wonder if, because Reis2Occasion, we talked about in the previous series, like, oh, we don't like the Galarian Moltres, and then he ends up bringing it, and it looks very, very strong into that team. Reis2Occasion has been known to bring a Pokemon that on paper looks bad, but has one or two very positive matchups, and then somehow finding his way into those positive matchups.
It is risky, but one answer would be Shadow Dusknoir, because the Shadow Dusknoir outpaces the Galarian Corsola.
Yeah.
So you can do some things and get some Protect Shields, and then maybe close in the back with another Pokemon as well. But I say it's risky because, of course, there is the Wigglytuff available for Doonebug. If Doonebug is showing that he wants to bring that Wigglytuff, maybe he's going to bring it in the lead for game number 2, but we are locked into this match number 2.
All right, well, let's take a look, guys. We have Doonebug, Reis2Occasion. Currently, Doonebug up 1-0 in this best-of-5 series. It's a battle of the ghosts. We have the Galarian Corsola into the Shadow Dusknoir. Just like you mentioned, Butters, the advantage that Reis2Occasion has is that you're able to outpace to these sucker punches. Do you throw on charge attack priority? No, they're just farming all the way up.
And that's kind of risky because look how much damage this Shadow Dusknoir has taken just from Astonish. But you do have the back-to-back Shadow Punch, so you could win the ones. You could have won the zeros. Now you could also win the 1 Protect Shield situations. You do lose the 2 Protect Shield situations, but I don't know if Doonebug is going to commit both Protect Shields to his Corsola.
Yeah, you can either soft losing at a farm down, but you talked about why he's running Galarian Corsola, and he's running it for alignment. He feels that he can get that alignment, that there's not going to be that Galarian Corsola in the lead. He comes out with a charge attack, and now he's guaranteed that he has switch alignment.
And now he comes in with the Gastrodon. It's going to be able to take this Nightshade, no problem. So it seems like once this Gastrodon gets the farm down, you're probably going to come in with a Cradily if you are Doonebug. So that means it's probably going to be Unova Stunfisk versus the Empoleon in the back. But remember, Reis2Occasion does have a Protect Shield advantage.
Well, Doonebug is probably feeling pretty good here because he knows now that he's seen the Gastrodon, it's very unlikely that there's another answer to his Unova Stunfisk here. The Empoleon, yes, while it can hit for super effective damage, you still have a more favorable matchup as this Unova Stunfisk.
This is looking pretty good, though, because you got that energy advantage. Now you're able to double Hydro Cannon before the double charge attack, so you Protect Shield this, of course, and then you get to the Hydro Cannon, and your Empoleon stays very healthy.
Yeah.
So not only can you clean up this matchup, you can do a lot into the Cradily.
That's right, exactly, and I don't think that Cradily was able to get 3 acids, which is what you would need in order to outpace that Empoleon. So I think you can just throw right away here and then still outpace that Cradily to the next charge attack.
This will knock out the Unova Stunfisk. Let's see how much cumulative energy that Cradily did have. Should be able to outpace to the Grass Knot here, but the Grass Knot is not enough. You throw the Rock Tomb, actually didn't throw anything, maybe afraid of a swap. Here comes the Hydro Cannon into the Cradily.
This is not going to knock out, but these Metal Sounds are adding up very, very quickly. We see a quick swap. Now the Water Pulse is loaded, but a charge attack priority. Gastrodon does win that one. Good heads-up play by Reis2Occasion. I think this is going to be very close to knocking out. It may even knock out, Butters.
This is crazy. It does knock out just 2 elite trainers going back-to-back in this sparring match here between Reis and Doonebug. Wow. These are 2 talented trainers, and now it is a tied series.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, realistically, this is one of the most evenly, even series that you could possibly have. Like you mentioned, it's 5-4. So these trainers are at a very appropriate skill level for each other. 2 of the top trainers in North America, really in the whole world. Some of the most accolades that any trainer can possibly have. And it's no surprise that it's very evenly matched here. Reis2Occasion just favoring that Gastrodon, that most recent battle. It did do quite a bit of work. The one thing that Doonebug has now done in 2 consecutive games is bringing that Galarian Corsola in the lead.
Something I need to point out here to check up on the storylines that we've been talking about. We asked Doonebug when he came up with his team. He said it was the night before the tournament. You asked Reis2Occasion when he came up with his team. He said a month ago.
Yeah.
Is that going to matter in a best-of-5 series where one trainer has so many more reps than the other trainer?
You know what? It may have some impacts, right? I don't think that this is one of those matchups where it is just so one-sided. Oh, I got my Shadow Scizor onto your Talonflame, GG. I think there is a lot of room for flexibility and a lot of intricacies and nuance to these matchups. So I do think that could have some impacts.
And it's crazy that Reis2Occasion has had that team for this long because Unova Stunfisk has been the breakout Pokemon here in Vegas, but he's been using it for a month now. We are locked into game number 3. It's going to be the Gastrodon versus the Shadow Talonflame. This is a weird matchup. Both of these Pokemon are resisting the fast attacks.
Yeah, it's resisted fast attack pressure. The Incinerate you have to give a little bit of an advantage towards. But the weird thing is that they both get to their first charge attack right at 15 turns. So as Reis2Occasion, you can throw on 18 turns while Doonebug is at 20 turns. A little bit awkward, but Doonebug just shields up this first charge attack, no problem.
Going for the bait here. The Shadow Dusknoir is in the back. There is that Wigglytuff in the back for Doonebug as well that we saw in that game number 1. How does Reis2Occasion avoid that matchup? Here comes the next body slam into the Talonflame. Talonflame is loaded with energy, has the double fly, but one fly I do not believe is enough to knock out the Gastrodon from this range.
Do you save this energy for later, or do you just unleash 2 flies? Are you in 1 Incinerate range that you can farm down? Well, we're not going to find out. Actually, that Mud Slap does go through. Yeah, the Mud Slap goes through, and then the Astonish goes through. Doonebug unable to throw any of that energy. That's devastating.
It is devastating, but at least he does have this Wigglytuff to clean up this matchup. Do you give up Protect Shield here? He's thinking about it right now. He's really considering it. Is this going to be an effective Protect Shield? He does. Now he's out of Protect Shield, and this Empoleon has a 2 Protect Shield advantage in the back.
The switch clock is not up for Reis2Occasion. It is up for Doonebug. There's 10 seconds on the switch clock when you have to bring in a new Pokemon. You're going to bring in the Empoleon. Doonebug's going to immediately bring in his... yeah, he's immediate... Oh, I'm a little surprised here. He throws the double resisted Icy Wind. What this is doing now, though, is stalling the switch clock enough that Reis2Occasion may be able to then bring back in his Gastrodon at some point, even if it's just to clear that debuff.
And he does. He just sacrifices Gastrodon just to clear the debuff. He doesn't even try to use it for a catch later, knowing that his only way he can win the game is he get enough damage. At this point, with the Metal Sounds, double Hydro Cannon is enough to knock out a Galarian Corsola.
Well, what's interesting is now there's no catch attempt for Reis2Occasion. You forced him to swap out and sacrifice that Gastrodon for your catch attempt. I just don't know that there's any way for you to win this as Doonebug. You're just so far behind from a shield perspective, and the only saving grace you have is a Wigglytuff, but you don't have a lot of energy. I don't think you have any energy, and you're taking super effective Metal Sound damage.
You know, I think in the past, actually, Reis decided to not throw the Hydro Cannon when he had it to try to get some extra energy here. A little bit risky now. Is the switch timer up? It is just up. Here comes the swap. He just needs to get to a Swift here, but he will get outpaced. There will be back-to-back Hydro Cannons, but if you throw back-to-back Hydro Cannons, there's still health on the Corsola.
This Wigglytuff had more energy than I was remembering, so now you have the next Hydro Cannon, you have to throw it. Can this Galarian Corsola get to a charge deck, or simply just farm down before Reis is able to reach the next Hydro Cannon?
It's pretty energy dry. It's going to be unleashed here out of the Pokeball. It's completely energy dry. Can you reach the Hydro Cannon? I believe Reis2Occasion is able to reach it, and he gets to the Hydro Cannon. The 2 Protect Shield. Empoleon, a Pokemon I didn't think he could use as much in this series, is able to win game number 3.
Doonebug was hoping that 3 Astonishes would be enough to knock out, maybe from a Shadow Dusknoir, not from the bulkier, non-Shadow Galarian Corsola. Reis2Occasion able to reach that Hydro Cannon in 10 turns and knock out the Galarian Corsola. He's now up 2-1 in this best of 5 series in the winners finals.
One thing I'm noticing right now is both these trainers are so locked in.
Yeah.
I'm especially noticing it from Doonebug. Doonebug is completely locked in, and you just see at the end of battles just a pleasant, polite GG, but that's it. No emotion, no frustration, no joy early on either. They are so locked in. This means more than this regional as well. This rivalry means something to both these trainers.
Yeah, and what's really wild is that you've never really seen that rivalry go too far in any one direction, with one trainer just running away with it. And just like that rivalry, we're seeing that here in this individual best of 5 series. No one trainer is running away with things here. Reis2Occasion wants to try and take that 3-1 victory, get a little bit of a breather, force Doonebug down to the loser side of the bracket. But I think Doonebug is not out of this by any means.
He is not, and I'm really curious to see if he switches it up at all. We've seen Reis switch it up a little bit, bringing that Empoleon. Doonebug has been leaning heavily on that Corsola, Shadow Talonflame, and the Wigglytuff. Looks like we have lock-ins for game number 4 of this best of 5. Once again, leaning on that Wigglytuff, leading it here, having the same team of 3 for Doonebug.
Well, you got to feel good as Doonebug that you don't have Wigglytuff on that Empoleon. That was disaster in that previous game, so this is still quite solid. You do get to this Water Pulse before Doonebug is able to reach the Icy Wind, but Doonebug actually just going straight for the Swift.
Going for the same type attack bonus, the lower energy attack, because the double Swift will be able to knock out the Gastrodon, thinking that his alignment will matter in the back with the Shadow Talonflame, but Shadow Talonflame will be pretty good against both of those Pokemon in the back. Swapping out into the Corsola here, no direct answer, so it looks like Reis is just going to bank up a little bit of energy and actually just go for the Water Pulse.
Yeah, it goes for the Water Pulse. Doonebug gets the Astonish through. He may even shield this one up. It wouldn't shock me if he wants to prioritize keeping some HP on there. That's exactly what he does. I think we might see a swap out from Reis2Occasion. Yes, he brings in his Shadow Dusknoir. My question is, can Reis2Occasion get to a Shadow Punch before Doonebug is able to reach double Nightshade?
I don't think he can, but does he try to go for a full Astonish down? I don't think you can either, because you're going to take so much damage. Actually, it would have been charge attack priority. He does. He gets there at the exact same time, and of course, Shadow Dusknoir is going to win the charge attack priority with that higher attack stat than the Corsola. Knocking out the Corsola, this Dusknoir is energy dry, does have a decent amount of health, but the Wigglytuff should be able to clean it up.
Yeah, and I think that you're actually trying to set up your Talonflame as well. If you can... Okay, you throw the Swift. This is curious,
Double
Butters.
resisted, by the way. It shouldn't knock out. Can you swap? No, you can't get back to your timer yet, so you have to throw the Shadow Punch. This is also double resisted. Can this one knock out Wholesome?
I think that this knocks out for sure, but I don't see a situation where Doonebug's going to win this game, and the reason being is that you bring in your Talonflame, you swap in the Empoleon, and you are going to be able to get to your Hydro Cannons a little bit faster than these Flame Charges.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
He got an Astonish through, and then he swapped. In the end game, he can still get one Astonish to get to a Shadow Punch.
I don't think he's going to need a Shadow Dusknoir. I think this Empoleon's just going to clean this up here.
Yeah, well...
He's at 3, he needs 2 more, he's going to get there within the next Incinerate.
Yeah, fair enough. The Flame Charge is going to be coming into the Protect Shield of Reis2Occasion here. Gets Protect Shield, the last one. There are 3 Pokemon remaining, but like you said, just outpaces. And Empoleon, the MVP here for Reis2Occasion, is able to move on to the Grand Finals here in Vegas.
Reis2Occasion pulling away 3-1 victory. We did not get to see the full 5 games, but Reis2Occasion proving that he is just locked in. I was talking to folks backstage, and I just said, this is a different Reis than I see. I've seen him win several tournaments before, and there is just a mode. And when I saw him facing off versus Trent, I think it was earlier today, or no, it was yesterday, when I saw him versus Trent. Trent was playing so great, but Reis2Occasion was just looking like he was on another level, and he is just proving that here, making a pretty easy path to victory there versus even Doonebug.
Seems like he was running circles around top trainers.